Hey, KinShun here with Dragon Blaze video. Here's a video of the Archer skill build video. So the Archer, just like the Warrior, is not as well played. I think most of the other classes like the Paladin and the Priest are more popular. But for myself, I have the Oranos Buster to begin with, from alting other allies, Archer to be specific. So I've decided to use Archer as my second most played main character, and without further ado, here it is. She looks really cool, to be honest. So here you can see I have the Freed Ragnarok set, I think the most up-to-date set for the cap of 102. I put all these dex giving gems for all the equipment. The best is always to have dex and stamina or some kind of max HP for each of them. I don't have perfect stats for all of them, as you can see, but at the very least, have dex in the armors for the Archer. And as far as the weapons, of course, the perfect stats would have critical damage and critical rate on both, as for each of the weapons, as you can see, I have here for the quiver and the bow. And of course, if you are doing arena and collecting coins, critical damage and boss additional damage is the way to go. In terms of procs, for weapons, you want to do defense, decrease enemy defense here, like my Archer, and also attack speed. And it works really well for the Dragon Buster Oranos, because for that, you want to maximize the attack speed of Oranos, and I'll do a video on the Busters later as well. Also, other procs you can do would be damage over time as well. That seems to be a favored one for the Archer. So in terms of equipment, that's that for the Archer. Moving on to skills here. So the Archer actually had a revamp of skills post Awakened state, and also post Buster state. And this used to be a different skill, but they changed it to Deadly Trap. So for this video, for particular, I'm just gonna go and talk about the Deadly Trap skill rather than, I think it was Aim skill before all of this. But as you can see, I've only been able to unlock one skill build for this character. I don't play on this character too much, so I haven't got enough rubies or would use any resources to unlock a different skill build. But after having Busters released, you always want to do a second skill build for a keyless versus keyed character. For my Archer, I would always build her as if I'm not doing any keys for her, just because I don't use her that often. So going through each skill, this is Powerful Arrow. Number 1, it's a single damage, which does lots and lots of damage, 100% accuracy, and also it leaves a mark that cannot be removed for 8 seconds, as you can see here. And the entire party's attack is focused on the enemy mark, so it's good. It kind of focus fires on one enemy, and you can decide which of that enemy it's gonna be. And I think the mastery of this would be even more damage with the same mark, and also all attacks against the marked enemies becomes critical hit. So that's really useful to maximize damage on a single target. Now, if I were the Archer, I would actually get this skill over this skill, just because of this last clause right here. All the attacks on that enemy becomes critical hits. That would maximize all your hits and maximize all the damage on that particular enemy. And if you're able to get critical damage, stack it up for each of the characters, this would deal even more damage. So that's my take on that one. And if I didn't max the second skill, I would have done this instead. As far as the second skill, it's a AoE attack which inflicts damage. Also removes buffs, and including invulnerability with a 50% chance, silences for 6 seconds as an ultimate, and awaken and inflicts even more damage, removes all buffs and invulnerability with a 100% chance. So that is actually real good for any PvP parties that depend on invincibility shields, which is a lot of the parties. And this is why, because of that, I used this. I maxed this just for more of a utility purpose. Because if you're able to get through their invulnerability, they die faster. You know, but of course, your character would have to stay alive for that to happen. So sometimes it doesn't work as well as you think it does, but it still works pretty well, as you can see. And I'm using, again, if I don't max this, I would max the first one. Lastly, this is a new skill. I actually haven't used this. It's the Deadly Trap. Sets Deadly Trap in front of the party. Prepare for enemy's attack. Attack increases, skill level rises. So pretty much when one ally is hit, they get damaged. Deals that much damage to them. When it becomes the ultimate, deals more damage, and increases the crit rate of one ally. And then the Master, or the Awakened, it deals a lot of damage to them, and even increases the crit rate even further, and also the crit damage of all allies. So you can compare this with that. I'd still go with this though. Just, you can focus fire on somebody. This is more like a, hey, don't attack me, and if you do, this is what happens skill. So I don't know. I haven't had much experience playing with this skill, but I've had this in the past, and I'm using this now. So as you can see, my skill build, I'm actually taking use of these two. One so that I can focus fire on one enemy, and the other I can do an AoE. If you ever had experience playing with this skill set, please leave down in the comments, tell me what you think. As far as I understand it, it's not as useful as the other two, so correct me if I'm wrong though. In terms of passive skills, here increases weapon attack and base attack for your own character only. This one applies to the whole character. Energy release increases crit damage, also death penetration. This is real good for the Golden World boss. And also the last one increases your dex and also applies to the entire party. I always would max these two, if not at least this one, since this crit damage for the entire party is very important. And then this, if you want to increase your own weapon attack. You have any extra skill points, I would max this as well. I decided not to do that and did this instead. Put the skill points here instead, so I'm able to target enemies that I want my whole party to focus fire on instead of dealing extra damage. So that was my reasoning there. I'm seeing people max all these three, but that's completely up to you guys. And of course, if I were to be keyless, I would max everything here and nothing here. Why? Because you're not going to be able to use these active skills as an Oranos or Thanatos, Dark Soul, but these passive would still apply. So that's it for the Archer. If you have any questions about the Archer, please feel free to comment. I'll try to answer some questions in the bottom. Again, I don't play this character all that much, and my build's probably not the best compared to other builds, but build it however you want. This is just my opinion how you should build an Archer. Alright, thanks. If you like the video, please comment and subscribe on the bottom, and like this video. I'll talk to you guys later again for future skill build videos. Thanks, guys.